Now that we have all of our settings set up, we can start designing our pipe networks. So let's quickly take a look at all the settings that we have set up. So within your Prospector tab, we're going to click on Settings to go to the Settings. And I'm just going to minimize stuff here. So we're going to start off with Pipe Network. We've set up our 3 parts list: sanitary, storm, and water. We've made an interference style. Under the pipe styles, we've set up our sanitary, storm, and water pipe styles. We've set up our pipe rule sets for sanitary, storm, and water, as well as our label styles for plan and profile. So we've now set up everything we need to design in the pipes, as well as the table styles. Under the structure tab, we've set up our structure styles for catch basin, fire hydrant, and then sanitary and storm manholes. We've set up our structure rule sets, and you may have more. You may have the 0.03, 0.06, and 0.15 structure rules. And we've also set up our label styles. And then finally, table styles. So now that we have all of this in here, we can start designing our pipe networks and we can start laying the pipes in. So we're going to go back to the Prospector tab, and under the pipe networks, under the networks, I already have 3 in here. We're going to right click and we're going to create pipe network by layout. So again, name things descriptively. So I'm going to name this sanitary 2. Make sure to select your proper parts list. So sanitary parts list. Now if we click on the layers button, you see all our objects are going to their own respective layers. So we're going to click OK. Now surface name. I've included a surface with this, and you want to have your surface set up so you can physically attach your pipes to that surface. If you forget to set it up, you're going to have to go back and click on each structure and pipe one by one and attach them to the surface. Same with the alignment name. Now I haven't put an alignment in here yet, so I'm just going to select none. We can set it up afterwards. Structure label style. So I want to use structure label plan for this. And pipe label style, I want to use pipe label plan sanitary. So I'm going to set those options up, and again, don't worry about alignment yet. We're going to make one, and I'm going to click OK. So up pops up our sanitary rule or network layout tool. So I'm just going to close this for now, and I'm going to go ahead and make alignment down the center line of my road. So I've got a polyline down the center line. I'm going to go to alignments. I'm going to create an alignment from the polyline. So I'm going to select my polyline. It's a single polyline start to end. I'm going to hit enter. Now it asks me to choose the alignment direction. Now when we're reading a plan, we either read it from left to right or from bottom to top. Now as you see, my polyline has the incorrect direction. So I'm going to hit R for reverse, and it's going to flip it around. Now again, when you name your items, entrance road 2. So this is the entrance road into our subdivision. In real life design, this road will have a name. Name your road what that is. The type, we want a center line. Starting station, we'll leave 0 plus 0, 0, 0. Sites, leave that to none. And then we'll leave the defaults for everything else, and we'll deselect add curves between tangents. So once we have this all set up, and as you see, this road is going to C-align-entrance road 2. So that's the layer that our alignment is being put on. So we'll click OK. And you now see we have an alignment that goes from 0 all the way up to 130. So this one is 130 meters long. In fact, we can extend it a little bit farther. So we'll just go an extra 10 meters to make it 140 long. Now we have our alignment set up. We can start designing our networks. But first we need to look at the road cross section. For this example, I've taken a divided major road. And on this you can see all the offsets. So we're measuring from the property line. And as you see here, the middle is the center. So that's an 18 meter offset. This is a 36 meter wide road. So on the right hand side of the page, our water is offset 13 meters from the property line. So we're not offsetting from the center line, but the property line. On the left-hand side, we see our storm line is offset 13 meters from the property line, and our sanitary line is offset 10 meters from the property line. Now we need to keep the sanitary away from the water as much as possible. So each road within the city is going to have a different set of offsets, and you will have to design to those. So we have 2 different roads in our subdivision. Each of those are going to have different offsets. You're going to have to go find them and look them up. So I'm just going to use the major road ones, and I'll leave this page open so I can see it. Now, on the left and right here, I have my C-road right-of-way. So that's my property line or right-of-way. So on the right-hand side, and again, which is right, which is left, doesn't really matter as long as you keep it consistent. If I put my sanitary over here and my storm and water on this side, it's not going to make any difference as if I put my water over here, my sand and my storm over here. So I'm going to offset my one property line 13 meters to the inside. So this line will be my water line. I'm going to offset this property line 13 meters to the inside for my storm line. And now I'm going to offset this line 10 meters to the inside for my water line. So, water, storm, sanitary. So I've got my 3 lines in there. And of course they will be extended all the way to where the offsets are on the road below. So I'll just extend them down. And again, measure them from the center line on this. I'm just drawing this in to show you how to build them. So we've got our 3 lines in there. First we're going to do sanitary, so that's the far left one. Technically you design in storm first. So actually, yeah, let's do storm. Let's create another pipe network by layout, not from object. Create pipe networks by layout. The network name, storm 2. Parts list, your storm parts list. Surface name, interior roads feature lines. Alignment name, entrance road 2. Structure label plan. And pipe label plan storm. So we have all that set up. We can click OK. Up pops our insertion dialog box. So we got a few buttons here. This first one opens the pipe network properties. So we'll go into here first and set up a few additional options for when we draw our pipes. Things just automatically happen. If we take a look under the information tab, this is just the name of your pipe network, so storm 2. Utility type, we're going to set to drainage if it already is not. Now the utility type is for when we export this to storm and sanitary analysis. If you ever do that, we are not going to. If we take a look under the layout settings, so these are basically the settings we set up in a previous dialog box. It has our structure label plans, our pipe label plan storm, which parts list we're using, the surface and alignment names, what layers the items are going to, and the name template. We'll leave the name templates the same as we'll be renaming our pipes afterwards. We're going to click on the profile tab. Now we have to set up a few additional options in here so our labels appear in automatically. So our structure profile label style, we're going to go structure label profile. Our pipe profile label style, we're going to use pipe label profile storm. And our crossing pipe label style, we're just going to worry about none. Again, automatic layers over here. Under the section tab, we won't bother setting this up. And the statistics tab, this tells you what alignments and surfaces you're referencing. And as well, when we do have pipes populated, they will show up down here. So we'll click OK. We've got all these set up. And again, just take a quick browse through. Make sure everything's set up again. It's easier to fix it now and try to fix it later. Everything looks good to me. I'll click OK. The second box, now if we've forgot to select the proper surface or you need to change surfaces on the fly, so you have a pipe coming through with structures on one surface that flips over to another surface, we can change it this way. So leave it on interior roads feature lines. The one you will have to use is this alignment. So as you move between the alignments on your drawing, and there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them, you'll have to switch this alignment as you go. So I'll click OK on that one. The third one is to set up your parts list. So we're already on the storm parts list. That's good. Now, I'll expand this a little bit. These next 2 boxes are going to be your item picker. So which structure do we want to use? Which pipes do we want to use? And as you can see, I've set up all my pipe sizes. You're going to only have a few of them in here. Probably 4 PVCs and maybe 6 or 7 concretes. So for now, I'm going to select my concentric structure. So I'm going to input my manholes. And the minimum PVC pipe size for the city of Calgary is going to be 300. Now, we're going to start with minimums. And as we work in our spreadsheets to figure out the proper pipe sizing, we will use those. So the next box over is to draw pipes and structures, pipes only or structures only. Couple more buttons here just to toggle upslope and downslope. So if you know where your network is flowing, you can set it up the proper flow direction here. We can always change that afterwards. We can delete a structure or delete a pipe network object. And finally, this one is the pipe network vista. So if you have information in there, you can automatically pick it. So I'm going to draw pipes and structures. And if you read the command line, specify the structure insertion point. So knowing that storm is opposite the water and between the water and the sanitary, my storm manhole is going to go here. So as you see, it input my storm manhole, it input a label, and the pipe it's attached to is green. So I'm going to draw this coming down, and I'm going to place it here. So there's my storm manhole, and just to show you the connection, I'm going to drop it over here. Again, use proper offsets to place yours in automatically. So I've got 2 pipes and 3 manholes in there. I'm going to hit enter. And all these labels we built before automatically show up. So we can select them and we can drag them away. So they allow us to see things a little bit better. So we've got our storm system in here. And again, there's going to be more pipes. Let's close this. And let's input the sanitary system we have. So we're going to go to the network properties and set up the few settings in our profile. So we want structure label profile, pipe label profile sanitary, and those are the only 2 that we didn't set up already. Or sorry, the alignment name as well, entrance road, and we're going to click OK. So as you notice, nothing popped up. So how do we get this dialog box to pop up? Well, if you right click on sanitary 2 or sanitary, we're going to right click edit network, which is going to bring the same dialog box up, but since we're using the sanitary parts list, we only have manholes and PVC pipes. And again, the minimum PVC pipe for the city of Calgary, I believe for residential, is 250 mil PVC sanitary. So we're going to draw pipes and structures. Now we're not going to put it over here. This is our water line. We're going to place it to the left. So click, and as you notice, this is now using the sanitary structure, and for some reason it's going to use a storm pipe, I believe, but we can fix that after. So we're going to click there, we'll click there, and actually it defaulted to the sanitary pipe, so that's good. And we're going to click somewhere over here. Now keep in mind the proper offsets. Your sanitary will be on this side of the line, so let's go ahead and move it so I can show you how easy it is to move things. So say I place them in wrong, you can just grab your manhole, the pipe is attached to it, and drag it out of the way. So we're going to grab this one, and we're just going to drag it out of the way. Now, as you see, more labels are appearing, so this tends to get messy pretty fast. So keep your labels clean and move them as you build them, so you don't have 17 labels overlapping all at once. So this one I'm going to move down here. This one I'm going to move up here. So we've now got our sanitary pipe in, we've got our storm pipe in. Again, sanitary and storm. Let's move this one label out of the way as well. Let's close this and let's create our water network here. So we're going to create pipe network by layout. Water 2. Our networks parts list is our water parts list. Surface name, alignment name, structure label plan. Let's do name only for this one. And pipe label plan water, so you can see what happens. We'll click OK, and as you remember, we have to go set up a few more additional settings under the profile tab. Pipe label profile water and structure label profile. So we'll click OK. This structure, if you remember, is our fire hydrant. We'll touch that one after. We're going to go null structure for now. So if you remember back, the null structure is Civil 3D's way of connecting a pressurized network together. Now, we're not going into the pressure networks. This is the one you would really be using. We're just going to treat it like a gravity drain pipe network. But this is Civil 3D's way of connecting together without having any major issues. Now, the pipe sizes for PVC water are basically 200 or 250. So we'll put a 200 millimeter PVC pipeline in. And we're going to draw pipes and structures. So I'm going to click, start off with my structure, going down. Now this one will extend to this side of the road, and it will run under this side of the road. So I'm putting these bottom ones in. Wherever, you'll have proper location for them. Now, if you've noticed this road is curved, well, how do we put a curved pipe in? So I'll add one more pipe to this side to show you that. So we're going to draw pipes and structures. Now, we're not starting from a line. We're going to be starting from a structure. So if I zoom in and I hover over the structure, this little glyph that pops up means you're attaching it to the structure. If you get this glyph, it means it's going to break the pipe and insert another structure. So we're going to click on this structure to add another pipe to it. And if you look in the command line, we're going to click on curve. So we want to curve this pipe. So select second point of curve. So like drawing a polyline, you select to about the midpoint of the curve. And as you see, my pipe now bends. Now we have to keep track of the proper radiuses to make sure we meet them. So I'm going to put the last piece of pipe in, and I'll show you that radius page. So I put that in, I'm going to hit enter. So if we go back to the design guidelines for subdivision servicing book on page 169 of the actual document or 182 of the PDF, we see minimum radiuses here. So we have PVC pipe. This radius is over 200 mil pipe. Our minimum radius is 23 meters. So this radius is over 1,000. So we are good on that. Again, make sure your radiuses are fine with the proper pipe bends. So again, design guidelines for subdivision servicing, table IV-C.2, minimum radii of curvature for sewers. So different sizes obviously have different minimum radiuses. So I've got my pipes in there, I've got my structures in there. Let's quickly edit one of these null structures to show the pipe connections. So we're going to right click on the structure, select it, right click, structure properties. And again, as you come into the structure properties, you'll be renaming these. So under the information tab, name it what it is. This is my entrance road T, or if you want to name it, T1. So T1 point, I'm going to name it 1.0. I already have a T1 in there. Style is going to be null, that's fine. Under your part properties, so this is everything in your drawing. As we see, the surface elevation at insert point appears to be incorrect, but I did move my surface. So all the information is in here. If we go to the connected pipes, it looks like I did move my surface and I actually dropped it to a negative value. But that's not going to affect anything here. So we have our 3 connected pipes. And as you see, the third one I've added in does not match up. Now, matching water lines, every invert or center line needs to match up properly. So we're going to match it along the center line elevation, because if we have a smaller pipe coming out of a larger one, we'll match it to the center. So we're just going to quickly change this to minus 2039.492. And as you saw, slopes change. Our pipe rule that was violated went away. So I'm going to click OK. So that's quickly editing structure. Let's add a fire hydrant in. Now this is not going to be the actual location of the fire hydrant. So in your water network, just select the proper part. And again, yes, it says 1200 millimeter cylindrical structure. All we're using it is for a placeholder. So I want to draw pipes and structures. And if I've set this up properly, this will appear as a fire hydrant. And we're going to snap it perpendicular to our main water line. So as you see, it's added in a couple new pipe labels. It's shortened this one up considerably, so I'm just going to drag that out of the way. And it's completely removed this pipe label. So where we had drawn 1, we now have 2. So as you see here, our structure is now named T1. And this one should be a null structure. So how do we switch that to a null structure? So if you select it, right click, plain old properties, style, null. And yes, the size is a little large, but it's not going to print. And again, if it's really bothering you, we can change that through the styles. But we're not going to worry about that for now. So I'm going to move this label out of the way. So when we're placing in fire hydrants, they go on the side of the road that is closest to the water pipe. So we don't want our fire hydrant lead running through where our sanitary and storm are going to be. So this fire hydrant would be on this side of the road. So we've added it in. This structure should now be called fire hydrant T1. So again, you're trying to keep things in order, keep things organized. Again, as you move things, you're going to have to adjust the labels around them. Now, not all these labels are going to be shown on the same plan. So basically that's setting up your pipe networks, modifying a structure. Let's go modify a pipe now. And actually, let's add this pipe label into it. So I'm going to select my pipe. And again, if everything is set up properly, I can right click, add label. And your pipe label should appear here automatically, but it appears that it didn't. So again, just select the label. It'll be in your properties tab. You can go pipe label plan water, and it switches that label to the proper one. So now there's this pipe here. It may not be running at a proper slope. It's waterline, so we just want to ensure this is 3 meters under. Let's go to our storm. So minimum slopes for a 300 storm are going to be around, I'm going to say 0.6. So this violates the minimum slope since it's 0.13. So we're going to select our pipe, right click, pipe properties. And under the pipe slopes here, this is where we'll change things. Now this is where it gets a little bit confusing. What's the start? What's the end? Well, I started drawing it up here. I drew it south down to here. So I want to hold the end in this case, and I want to make this 0.6. So again, flow direction matters on the pipe. I'm going to hit OK, and as you notice, my label's updated. So now I've got my profile in there. I have my pipes in there, but at the moment we can't really see anything. We can select them all. So if we select them all, we can object viewer them, and that doesn't really help us out at the moment. So take a quick look in the object viewer. And again, we have no catch basins. All the information is just not there, so we can't really modify or model interference. But let's make a quick profile of this road. So we're going to go up to the Profiles tab. We're going to create a profile from Surface. So I'm going to select in my alignment my entrance road 2, that's what I named it, and my interior roads feature lines 1. So these are the copies of my original that I made. My style I'm going to set up to C-road-grnd. And then if you click OK, it's going to give you nothing. It's going to pop up saying a few errors, or the profile is being created. It's listed to Prospector, but nothing actually came up. It says click here. So we're going to go back into Profiles, create profile from Surface. We're going to select our entrance road. Now we have to click the Draw and Profile View button. So this is what actually helps us create the profile. I like to name my profiles the same as my alignments, so it keeps things consistent and keeps things similar. My style, I'm going to go C-road-DSGN, and I'm going to leave, if you see here, automatic layer. I'm going to click next. Station range, so I want to show the whole profile. Next. The profile view height. So when you get your pipe networks put in, your alignments built, your profiles built, you'll be doing a user specified height because not an entire profile is going to fit on one page. You're going to have to trim it down to what's actually needed to be shown. But I'm going to leave it automatic for now. I'm going to click next, profile display options, next. Now comes the pipes and pressure networks. Do not select any of these as it's going to add every pipe in your network to your profile, and that is going to create a mess. So we'll click next to the data bands, leave that default, click next to the hatch options, and we're going to click create profile view. So read the command line, select profile view origin. So I'm going to click somewhere off to the top right of my drawing, and as you see, it's modeled in my road. It's put in a whole bunch of labels that we can delete. So here's my road center line that has been provided. Now I need to add my pipes and profiles to that, so we can get rid of all the labels. You can come back to your plan view. Now only select what is actually going to be shown on the profile. So I'm going to select my manholes, my storm pipes, my sanitary pipes, and hopefully not grabbing any line work. So you should have 2 structures for each utility, totaling 6 structures and 3 pipes. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to draw parts in profile view. So we're going to add network parts to profile, select profile view. I'm going to click on the yellow bounding box of my profile and just place these parts vertically in my profile. And as you see, it's made a whole bunch of label mess. We don't actually need to show the T information on here, so we can delete the waterline structures if you can find them. We'll look for that one after. But part of this, cleaning up your labels. So drag them both off to one side. This looks like it's the storm manhole. That looks to me like the sanitary one. And then this will be your water one. So as you see where it's attached, it's a water one, we can get rid of it. It's automatically placed in my proper labels on storm, sanitary, and water. It's placed in the proper structure labels. Again, nothing is named. Things have to be named properly. It's generally applied the rules. I'm not sure if they're correct. And sanitary is running at 0.11%. I know that 250 mil pipe needs to be steeper than that. And if we go back to the design guidelines and scroll down, 200 mil sanitary PVC is 0.8%. Is that the pipe size we had? 250 mil. So 250 mil is 0.4%. So we can, again, instead of going back to the plan view, you can access the same options from here. So we can select the pipe, right click, pipe properties. Change the end, holding the end to 0.4%, and when I hit apply, you can see it change in our plan view. So we'll click OK. Now we set up these rules. We put our structures in. Did they really work? Again, you can select one of your pipes. You can right click and apply rule, and we'll see if this makes a change. So it lowered the pipe slope. It didn't keep the proper depth. So again, storm pipes, we put 1.2 meters underground. So let's just quickly check in if it did the proper depth. So distance from there to the ground, or the manhole top, yields 1.2. So that actually did do the proper depth. Before, it held the slope or something or other. If we look at our structure style, so this is the red circle, that's the incoming pipe. So that is basically pipe networks. Now getting your pipe networks put in is one thing. Actually sizing them properly and making sure there's no conflicts is a whole other large amount of work. Now you're going to have to use your spreadsheets, which maybe I'll make another video for to show, is going to size your pipes. And that will use the proper pipe sizes for our subdivision and showing exactly what they want. So to quickly show you all my profiles for our site, if I zoom out, come over, I'm going to freeze my images. And again, I got profiles for tie-ins, I got profiles for entrance roads, all 4 internal roads, my cul-de-sacs, and last, the utility tie-in. So all these profiles are going to have to be built and designed. Utilities are going to have to be placed in them. Labels are going to have to be adjusted. Things are going to have to be properly moved. And when we get them into a plan view, I'll just flip over to 105, or sorry, a plan profile drawing. We have our utility plan at the top and our utility profile at the bottom. And that is pipe networks.